Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your Shauna. Let's get into this. Y'all, I'm not sure what's going on with this Spreaker app, but it is trying to cut into my greatness, y'all. I've been here playing with this thing, trying to record. It keeps cutting off. Finish out the segment where we had discussed in detail the workings of a birth chart. How do you interpret it, and interpreting it in different systems, right? Different horoscope systems. But before we move on, over this already, but I was having a conversation with someone about souls, and I heard this guy say that there's gonna be no new souls coming into any other dimensions right now, and that actually all of the souls that are circulating in this dimension and others are recycled souls. And that was up until a particular time frame. This is what made 2020 so important, because when 2020 came in, 2020 had ended that cycle where new souls hadn't been coming in, right? So when we started getting these new portals after 2020, everything after 2020 had come in, particularly more around the end of 20 coming into 21. We had so in the beginning was December 21st of 2020. We had the transit with Mercury, and we had a few other planets that had came in, and it had marked the beginning of a new 465 year cycle. And what that did was closed the cycle for the past 6,000, anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000 years, and then it started a new one. So again, anytime you see cycles and then start like that, that's where the influx of new souls are created. And I'll give you an example, and this is why I use Jerry Springer as an example to create his birth chart and interpret his birth chart, because he's someone who lived for quite a while, and he held so much space in this dimension. And what do I mean by that? When people are popular, they are getting energy from other people. They emit a lot of energy, and they receive a lot of energy for people. I mean, we have been chanting this man's name for generations. So when people like that leave, their energy tends to linger, and it tends to be recreated, and it actually leaves a really big space in the atmosphere. So this is why I said, when people of great influence pass away, we need to figure out how are we going to fill that space, because those new souls that are coming in are going to fill up the space that was just left, right? So do we want to create more energies like Jerry, or do we want to create something different, right? So that's what I mean by people holding space and the new energies coming in, filling in those spaces. And like I said, do we want more Jerrys, or do we want more astronauts? Not that Mr. Springer was a bad guy. I don't know him, but I mean, what he brought to the world, I don't think we need that anymore. And then you have to pay attention to the time that these new souls are coming in. As we have researched, Jerry Springer is born in London. He's an Aquarius in Vedic. That would make him a Capricorn. He would be a monkey as far as Chinese astrology is concerned. He would be a monkey wood because he was born in 44 of February. So when you look at all these different systems of astrology, they allow us to examine and observe from a different perspective of this one archetype, right? As we discussed with Chinese astrology, going over the different types of personalities, these 12 monkey types are presumed to be the 12 types of personalities. So when you move over to different systems, and this is because other things are not factored in, like the stars. But when you go over to Western astrology, other things like the stars are calculated in, and this is where those different, effects come in. So I like to always consider environment. I like to always consider life example. What type of genetics do you have? What type of background do you come from? What's your lineage? Because all of those things play a role, and you have to look at the family that you're going into, right? We kind of discussed this already, but it's really relevant to being able to understand birth charts and interpret. So I like to always say, look at your family base, right? When you do these charts, a good way to figure out if it makes sense to you, or just to make sense of it, is to look at the other elements in your family, right? Because everything is about balance. God doesn't give anything without it being balanced or without it needing balance, right? Balance is always required. So let's just say, okay, my family. I'll use my family as an example. There's a lot of Aquarius. There's a lot of women on my mom's side. On my dad's side, there's a lot of Earth, right? So Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, and a lot of women, right? So what that says to me is that both of my lines, right, from my mom and my dad's side, need to be balanced out by masculine energy, right? But the earth signs are already masculine, right? So what'll tend to happen is you will get boys that are of feminine signs, or you will get more boys that will just overall balance out the masculinity, because there's an influx or an abundance of one thing. So whatever energy may be needed from that particular element, it's required, so it's coming in abundance. Once that fulfillment has been reached, you'll start seeing other elements coming in. So like on my mom's side, there are a lot of air sign women in the older generations, more so Aquarius and Gemini, right? And then when you start to trickle down into the younger generations, you start to see water and fire. There's not a lot of earth, but this is in regards to the sun, right? So we're going to get into the importance of the rising sign. I'm just going over this so it can make sense, because a lot of people don't really see the connection. So let's just say, I don't know a lot of people's birth charts in my family, so I'll say mine. My brothers, right? I am a Capricorn rising, right? So that means within this lifetime, the energy that I'm stepping into needs to be that of a Capricorn. My brother is a Taurus. My dad was a Taurus. My little brother that passed away, he was last day of Sagittarius, right on the cusp of fire and earth, right? All my father's children were Sagittarius. That's not coincidental, right? So that's what I mean. And so what that lets me know, and then look, on my dad's side is a lot of earth, right? So when I look at it, with me being the oldest of both my parents, right? I am the beginning of a new generation. I am the beginning of a new portal. I do not myself believe that I'm a new soul. I actually do know that my soul has been reincarnated. I have proof of that. I have spiritual proof. And I have physical proof because my back hurts. But yeah, this is how you start to cipher and break down the energy that's coming in. Now, my descending sign, which is the element that is associated to me in my past life, I was a Cancer, right? And it makes sense because now, in this lifetime, I had to work on my emotions. I had to work on my intuition. I had to work on all the things that are related to the elements of a Cancer. So when you start to like play with the birth chart and you actually learn what the elements mean, and you learn the houses, and you learn what planets are connected to those houses and those zodiac signs, the gas is there, because all of those things matter and they are related to interpreting the birth chart. When you have the ability to interpret the birth chart, you can understand, one, your place in the family dynamic, and two, you can understand what type of karma your family has or what needs to be healed. These are the best ways to understand it. And then once you start applying that information to different systems, you'll be able to say, okay, in this type of environment, in this type of culture, I will be doing X, Y, and Z. Whatever you want to call it. I'm just using these things as an example. I'm really mad that the entire segment didn't upload yesterday. I don't know what that was about. Maybe the Most High didn't want me talking about Big Jerry. I don't know, but I won't go back to it. I will pick another popular person. Doesn't have to be someone who just recently passed. I'll pick someone that's, maybe I'll do Beyonce. Yeah. I'll do Beyonce's birth chart. And then what I'm going to start doing is start tiptoeing into bloodline karma, soulmates, twin flames, and start going into the differences and actually start using the birth charts to come up, with the explanation and just the interpretations based off of the birth charts. So yeah, we're going to start moving into we're going to start moving into a new series in a minute. But just remember, we're going to linger around. Like every now and again, the zodiac thing is going to come in and out. I just wanted to do this topic because I didn't get to effectively interpret the chart yesterday. That's for one. And for two, it just wasn't a full segment, right? But we are going to be getting ready to go into other topics. But this is going to linger because we're going to be interpreting birth charts and, discussing the warfare that's more than likely related to you and your family based off of your birth chart. We're going to start doing compatibility tests. I'm going to start doing a screen share when I get a little more settled in. But yeah, that's what's going on right now. Yeah, so that's it. I love you guys. I hope all is well. I hope your weekend went well. I myself, I'm going to make some mushrooms. And yeah, we're going to start doing food reviews too. Especially vegan food. Doesn't have to be, but I'm trying to encourage us all to have a better quality of life. So I'm going to start doing reviews, and we're going to go into the different types of food that are healthy for us, the different types of food that provides us ancestral information, what brings us closer to our roots. I've actually been doing research on that. And mushrooms and grains are two foods that are good for ancestral communication. So if you want to do a fast and then you want to be able to open yourself up to communications from the angels, mushrooms and rice, particularly a brown rice, is really good for communication between here and the spirit world. Also, anything that is light and greeny. We're going to go into that though, but I'm going to end it here. I love you guys. I hope your weekend went well. I hope you eat something good. I hope you sleep good. I hope you are drinking your water, eating your fruit, and sipping your tea, because it is free. And I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to go ahead, saute these mushrooms with the spinach. Hopefully it comes out really good. I'm going to let you guys know. And I love y'all. All right. Enjoy your week.